Alright, hello everybody, we're back once again with Pentiment. This is, it looks like Chapter 7, Act 3 of the game, where I'm playing as Magdalena. Um, yeah, we have to figure out what we want to do. I think, yeah, I've got my objective there. I could actually go anywhere. Um, I think I want to talk to the charcoal burner, because he's got the hot gossip, and I'm all about that life. So that works for me. There's also the old salt mine, which I can investigate, which I kind of want to. I'd rather do that than talk to people. It's Apollo! Hey, Magdalene! Hello, Apollo. What are you doing? Looking for frogs. Artemis says she saw one the other day, and we're trying to collect a bunch. What do you need the frogs for? Like I'll tell you, you'll snitch. I won't! Yeah, right. Sorry, Mags, I'm not telling. You'll just have to wait and see. Or ask Artemis. Maybe she'll tell you. Fine. I'll go talk to your sister. But be careful, you've already had to go to confession this year. Oh, we know. The Great Frog Plague of 1543. Yo, what's this? Ah, gathers chamomile. Artemis. Hey, Magdalena. Hey, Artemis. Apollo said you're catching frogs. Yeah? What about it? He told me to come ask you why. He wouldn't say anything. He didn't tell you? Christ, finally, he's learning to keep his mouth shut. Ah, come on, just tell me. No way, this is our biggest trick yet. We're not risking it to tell you. You'll just have to wait and see. Okay, fine, fine. Well, Old Smoky's back there, but the salt mine's over here. The pig? Out here? Must have broke out of its pen. I wonder who it belongs to. Maybe I should go tell somebody that their pig is loose. That sounds good. Maybe it's Martin Bowers? Hey Martin, you got a loose pig? Oh my god, he's so old now. Jesus. Good morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring, even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Klaus is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing is a better place thanks to him. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. What do you mean? Don't pretend like you haven't heard. Townsfolk have whispered shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm an honest man. I wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. I supported his cause. I pulled my weight around here, tilled the soil, salted the meats, provided for Brigitte and Kraft. I've done enough backbreaking work for this family. Can't a man just have a goddamn rest? Yeah, I believe you, Martin. Seems like you could use a respite. Damn right. Right, I've lost enough time to this as it is. It's time for you to go. Until later, Martin. I wanted to tell him about his piggies. But, yeah. Magdalena, how are you keeping? I'm eager to continue work on the mural. I have so much to do before Christmas. I'm certain it will be the pride of Tassing whenever you're through. You always had your mother's talent for art. And how's your dad? You're one of the only people who have asked how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Yourself disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you, carrying that weight alone. I remember when my dad fell. We cared for him best we could, but those few months before he passed were a tough time for everyone. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. God willing, you're right. I'm at his mercy. God willing, amen. Have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? Dad would want me to keep up the printing press. Wouldn't that be a sight? Are you sure you can handle it? It's a lot to manage on your own. But you're a good girl, Magda. I'm sure that there are any number of families in Tassing who'd be happy to take you. You have someone in mind, don't you? I literally can't imagine who you'd be alluding to. There's not a single young man of quality in this town. Not even young Oz. Yeah, he's about as subtle as his father, God rest out of his soul. I miss him. Oz doesn't know what he wants. Some days I'm amazed he can button his own pants. The way Ava hovers, who's to say she doesn't do it for him? Hehe. It was the same with Otto and Eva. We all know he was hers from the start, as Otz appears to be yours. But if nothing ever comes to that, know that you're always welcome in my family, Magda. Kraft's a nice, hard-working boy. He's got a sharp mind. He can provide for a family. Are you trying to set me up with your son? Can you blame a mother for trying? You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have you as a daughter. I guess I'll consider it. Thank you, sweet girl. Not every marriage starts off on a solid footing, but if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. Believe me. If it's not working out, how can you be sure a couple belongs together? God knows. He brings people together for a purpose. We don't need to understand it, only to have faith in Providence. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Thank you, Brigitte. Be well. Be well. And so I'm not asking because I don't want to, like, force myself into a discussion about something and then have that end up being the only thing that I do for an afternoon. I want to go to that mine. I'm really curious about it. Because I saw that was there before. Oh my god. The mine shaft. If I want to depict the mural as accurately as possible, I have to go down the shaft myself. The entrance is so steep, no one's used it in years. There must be some way to get down there. If I rigged a rope to the top beams, I'd be able to get down more easily. I saw some rope in the workshop at home, and I should find everything that I need there. I'll have to come back later. Let's go get some rope. I ask nobody for help. Wait, it was over here. Yo, give me a hand. I need you to show how you and Apollo get in and out of the old salt mine. Mine? Damn, Magna, why do you need to get down there? Want to see what our forefathers and Romans left behind? It's for the mural. The mural. You want to use our secret hideout for your mural? Your secret hideout, but everybody knows you two hide down there. Yeah, but they don't know how to climb down there, do they? It's secret enough. So why should I show you how to get in? Because we're friends? I told my mother when I cut my hair so I didn't have to wear braids 5 years ago. I still hold that grudge. Look, I'll show you how to get down into the mine on one condition. You help Apollo and me with our next prank. No telling, no snitching, no questions asked. Fine. Tell me what you're up to. Father Thomas has been droning on and on about the plagues of Egypt, right? Apollo and I are collecting frogs to hide in the tabernacle. When Father Thomas opens it on Sunday, frogs will go everywhere. I can't wait to see Father Thomas's face if you can get away with it. He'll never expect to summon frogs in a sermon on the Egyptian plagues. It's the perfect plan. So what do you want me to do? We stole the tabernacle key, but we need to put it back before he notices. You want me to put the key back? Precisely. Look, we stole the key early to make sure it was the right one. We'll steal it again once we actually stuff the frogs in there, but in the meantime, it needs to go back. I need you to replace the key on the altar in church. Apollo and I would attract too much attention, but you're the town's goody-goody. I'm not. I'm just a better sneak than you. That's bullshit and you know it. Anyway, will you do it? I'll get you into the mine if you do. Ooh. The prank seems harmless. No thanks. Fine. I'll just use the rope. Climb down the shaft. It'll take a while, like everything. Let's go. Amazing. How the fuck did they get down here? Probably through another entrance altogether. Calluses. A lot of different coins down here. How odd. It's not like this is a saint's well. Tablet. They're still writing on it. It's a poem. I think it's a love note. Oh, rising passion. This looks like a larger version of some of Baltus's contraptions. This winch must have been attached to some sort of hauling and pulley system. Fascinating. Bones, they're far too big to be human. Piece of pottery. It's beautiful. Pottery is scattered everywhere. Another piece. Cave in. Okay. Latin inscription. Tassia give me water, or Pluto preserve me, the salt is drying me to death. Yikes, it doesn't sound like working here was pleasant. Yo. Roman map of Tassing. I wonder what's changed. Let's see if I can map everything out. There's an aqueduct on the spring. The Abbey was an old fort up on the hill, and there's the rest of the town. Wait, what's this building? I don't recognize it. The Mithraeum. I don't recognize it from any of my books. Can't quite tell what it's meant to label on the map. Maybe it's some sort of temple? Whatever it is, it's not in Tassing now. It's so odd. It's a guy. Almost looks like an altar. It's Mithras. He's usually depicted with a dagger and a torch. It's less detailed than I expected. Like a kid drew it. The Mithraeum. Interesting. Another inscription. Laetus soul descended in the Mithraeum. My soul will descend in this damned hall of salt. Christ, that's rough. Mithraeum? Like a temple to Mithras? Another piece. I wonder if they're all from the same pot. More Latin writing. We cannot enter the Mithraeum. We will make our own altar to the gods. Mithraeum. It must have been an important place to the Romans. Yet another pottery piece. Some kind of figurines still in the other farmers find in the fields. There are so many of them, though. Looks like it matches. Here's another piece. I have a lot of these pieces. I should find out if they're from the same pot. Interesting. Figures on this pot lid look like they're telling a story. These paintings must depict an early myth even before the Romans. This must be Perkta, and those must be the wild forest spirits, part of the wild hunt. Oh god, the next part looks like a human sacrifice. Someone, maybe a chieftain, is sacrificing a man to Perkta. The bottom half of the lid continues the story. These look like spirits. They must be coming to feast on this sacrifice. That must be how our ancestors tried to keep Tassing safe. They offered sacrifices to Perkta. To think that our ancestors made this and I'm holding it now. Maybe this is what I could paint in the mural. I have to think more about it before I decide for certain. Alright, I better keep going before I run out of oil in my lamp. This is all I can go. Still, the murals on the wall showed me what Tassing was like when the Romans were here. I wonder if I can find out what their Mithrium was, or what it is. And putting the pottery shard back together showed one of the earliest stories of Tassing. I think I've seen everything I can down here. My oil is running out. Time to run back out. Let's get out of here. Ah. Wait, who's that? Someone there? I better get out of the shaft before it comes crashing down. Huh. Who was that? Even Apollo and Artemis would have helped me out of there. Well, now that I have some more information, I can make some decisions on the first section of the mural. Cool. Let's talk to Smokey. The pig. You. Yes? I'm Holler Brant, the Lord's gamekeeper. Why are you grazing pigs in the woods? I'm not. That's not my pig. I've been walking around this forest for hours. Other than the charcoal burner and the tinker, you're the only other person I've seen. If the pig doesn't belong to you, what are you doing here? I'm with child and I just had a craving for acorns. It's funny how many women have tried giving me the same excuse. Alright, let me ask a different question. Whose pig is this? I don't know, the pig is in here when I got here. Ah, a mysterious lost pig who apparently belongs to no one. I suppose so. If I find any more pigs in these woods, I'll kill them on the spot, and those who brought them here. Do you understand? Fine. Remind your neighbors what happens when you break the Lord's laws. Yo. I know the Lord's men patrolled these woods, but I've never seen one before. I didn't realize they were so strict. I suppose I should consider myself lucky. Anyway, time to get out of these woods and back to the work at the Wrath House. Yuck. Yikes. Talk to Smokey. G'day, Mr. Struckerin. I told you, Smokey, call me Magdalene. Old habits, I suppose. What brings you to my corner of the woods? More gossip? Only ancient gossip. I was wondering if you knew anything about the old pagan and Roman mines. The mines? Is this a new interest of yours, Magdalene? I don't see the townsfolk trek out there as much anymore. Last I saw, those two twins were making trouble. They know a way in, but I'll be damned if I ever set foot close to that place. What are you so interested in over there? The Merle of Rathos needs a section about the earliest days of Tassing. The mines are the oldest part of Tassing, and you keep a keen ear. I thought you might have heard something. I don't know about getting into the mines, but I do know a fair few stories about them and the other Roman ruins around here. The old stories my father used to tell me when he was the burner of Tassing. The one about Mars and Tassia, the nymph, was always my favorite, although I blame that on my youth. Tassia? Like Tassing? Folk named the town after a pagan god, a Roman one at that. I don't mind telling you the tale, Magdalene, but I warn you, it's a bit bawdy. Oh, I've read plenty of Roman myths. I'm sure none of it will surprise me. Maybe not, but I won't have your father hounding me for my coarseness. Folk in this town don't like me anyhow. But I'll tell the decent bits of what I remember. Alright, what's the story? Well, legend says that Mars was hunting in these woods and spied a fat boar for the taking. He just pulled back his spear when he heard a woman scream in terror. Of course, the creature ran off, and the god was angry at the loss of his quarry. So he tramped through the woods to see why a woman was in the forest and not the local town. Why would a god be hunting in Tassing's forest? How should I know? Maybe he just wanted a brisk walk. Besides, why should anything the gods do make sense? These were the old days when spirits and ghosts prowled. What do you mean, proud? Proud. You know, like spirits and other evil things do. You can't just say they walked through the woods like you or me. They prowled. This is a very Seinfeld-esque conversation. Alright. Keep going. So, Mars found a nymph, Tassia, bathing in her spring with a fat, ugly satyr goading her from the shore. Enraged at seeing the trapped nymph, Mars transformed into a wolf and slew the satyr. And in return, well... Tassia bathed the god. Ah, I see. I did warn you, Magdalene. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground and it blossomed with flowers and crops. That's why they say this valley is so fertile. Oh my. You can see why I like that tale in my youth. So much of what the Romans left behind was destroyed over the years, but I like that we still have these tales. You can never really destroy stories as long as there are people to tell them. Of course, the Romans left a hell of a lot behind, too. The town is more Roman than Bavarian, actually. Well, we are part of the Holy Roman Empire. Heh, that we are, and not for a lack of trying. Tassing is actually much smaller now than it was back in the Romans' day. At least, that's what I make of it. The ruins go deep into the forest and all the way to the old mine. Half of Tassing is built on old Roman stone. Take a walk around town and you'll start noticing things. We use their stone to build. The old temple by Satyrs' shrine has grown over, but the aqueduct runs for miles. Even the abbey used to be an old Roman fort. You can see some of the old Roman paved stones under the road if you look hard. We may not be Roman, but this town is. Tassing has been building up upon itself for hundreds of years. What a beautiful idea. That's the way of things. Most people don't notice old stones. Too busy in the town to notice what's right in front of their eyes. Well, thanks. I should get going. Just keep an eye out for any wolves or satyrs you might see down there, eh? I'll let you know if I see any. Thanks for your help. Good luck, Magdalene. Be safe. There's so many people to talk to. Like the Gertners. Father Thomas. Never mind me, I didn't do anything. Don't talk to me. Don't call me no more, don't text me no more. Waslav and Matilda, I don't remember these people. I don't want to talk to you. Nun's life can be a challenging one, but I never had to deal with any of the difficulties you do now, Magdalene. What about your old life was difficult for you? I struggled with vows, my discipline. I couldn't live as my sisters did. I broke my vows, as did Voslav. You fell in love. Yeah, we did. Well, I seduced her. You most certainly did not. Are you telling young Magda there that you seduced me then? Voslav, please. So you left the abbey? Well, we were found out, but our secret was kept. Still, the matter ate at my heart. That and being falsely accused of murdering the old baron terrified you, and rightly so. We must all account for our sins, Magdalene. I was afraid I would account for mine sooner than I thought. Those were the hardest years of my life. I repented and prayed to God to absolve me. But the Lord always provides, even in the darkest days. The Abbey's destruction gave us a second chance. Can't imagine the townsfolk was happy to let you stay. There was suspicion at first, yes, but we proved useful in the days following, and soon they came around. The Lord forgives more readily than man, Magdalene. Never think that you must remain in a place that causes you to sin, even if others think it godly. I'm glad that you two are finally able to live life together. You both deserve it. Only by the grace of God are we in this life together. May it be for many more years before we part. God willing. Anyway, Magdalene, I'll send that soup over to you shortly. Thank you, Matilda. God bless you, Magda. God bless. Cool. Well, that's fun. The Bowers. Bill Peter. He's still fucking alive? What the fuck? Yeah. What if you could tell me some stories about old Tassing? Oh, the old tales. It's been so damn long since anyone had a thought to ask me about what I know. But there's still a few old tales knocking about in the skull. Are there any myths from when the Romans were living in Tassing? The Romans weren't the first ones to live here, you know. There are spirits older than the saints that live in these woods. Older than the Romans. They protected Tassing before Saint Moritz ever set a blessed foot in town. But what sort of spirits? The sort I'm getting at. Did your father teach you patience, Magdalene? Sorry. It's Perktar and our wild hunt that scare them evil ones away. They've protected Tassing since its founding day. Long before the Romans, our ancestors roamed these mountains under a great chieftain called Ritus. Wait, isn't Ritus a Latin name? Hey! The ending on his name is the masculine singular ending on most male Roman names. Plenty of names end with the same letters doesn't make them Latin, does it? Now quit your yammering and listen. Folks weren't as kind as they are now, and the tribes fought one another for the best land. The old chieftain was a yellow-bellied coward who neglected the old gods. He was too proud to make offerings. Because of him, the other gods favored the other tribes, and Ritus' people had no land to call their own. Instead, they wandered through these mountains and valleys, hunting and gathering what they could to survive. One day, when winter was approaching, Ritus went hunting and found a wounded wolf tangled in a trap. But instead of killing the beast, as most men would, he helped the beast and loosed it from its bounds. Was the wolf a spirit in disguise? Of course not. Wolves are wolves, girl. Spirits don't need the skins of other animals for their power. Still, you've got the sense of the thing. The old gods are keen to repay favors done, and Perkta is the goddess of the wild hunt. The wolves are her animals. She leads the wild hunt, and the wolves lead the hunts of the forest. Back in my day, folk knew it was bad luck to kill a wolf. Now I'm the only one who remembers these things. Perkta saw Ritus' action and took favor on him, and told the wolf to lead the chief to her sacred spring. Ritus led his people to the spring and claimed it for his homeland, and we've been in this valley ever since. Then those goddamn Romans came and destroyed everything. But you see, there were other gods protecting this place before St. Moritz. It's why a few of us still honor Perkta. She protects us against witches and fiends. That's a wonderful story. Perfect for the first part of the mural. Good, good. Now I know I can still be of some use to this town. What about the Romans? Do you know of any Roman legends of Tassing? Roman legends? Ah, I don't bother with stories from outsiders or tales of gods that aren't our own. Romans did nothing but conquer our people and destroy this town. We spent generation after generation building Tassing up back from those days. And still, our traditions keep dying with no one to carry them on. That's why I want to know, Peter. For the mural. The mural? Fine, fine, but I don't know any of the old Roman shit. Alright, alright. I have lots to think about. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, Peter. At least someone wants to listen to me. Ugh, I'm tired. Talking so much has made my jaw ache. I'll leave you to rest then. God bless you, Peter. Oh my god. Oh, I don't want to talk to anybody else. I have to talk to everybody? No. Here we go. Ots. I can be pretty stubborn when I want to, Ots. Clearly. I'm impressed. The rest of the council has been arguing over the matter for so long, even I couldn't get a word in. Then you came along and shut them up in a few minutes. We could use a few more women like you in the town. What do you mean by that, Ots? Well, you know, you're headstrong and willing to give your opinion, and damn what anybody else thinks. You really think so? Well, yeah. I wouldn't tell you that otherwise. You're an admirable woman. Anyway, standing up to the council like that was great. I know I'm on the council, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I have any influence. Ots actually seems insecure about his place in the council. He may be an ass sometimes, but I don't like to see him so upset. Maybe I should reassure him. You do, though. You vouched for me to do the mural in the first place. Only after your dad did. I still feel bad about that. I should have stuck up for you. Being the youngest one on the council has been harder than I thought. I know Baltus and Verna don't think I'm capable, and even Paul has warned me about being too rash. My dad died trying to make a difference in this town. All I'm trying to do is carry on his legacy, but it seems like the others won't make room for any change. Keep pushing, Ots. They're stuck in the past, but we're looking toward the future of Tassing. Thanks, Mags. Magdalene. It'll take time, but maybe they'll listen to me eventually. Oh well. Better get back to it. See you later, Mags. Princer House. God bless you, Madeline. God bless you, Tilda. You have a moment. Of course, what do you need? Odd says you've been obsessed with your painting. I'm looking into the early history of Tassing for the first part of the mural. Mother Illuminata said your grandfather read about the history of the town. Ah, fertile fields, that is. Seemed like old pot shards and Latin trivia were all he ever talked about. All of Granddad's reading came from the Abbey's library, though, and you know what happened there. Poof! Up in smoke. So you don't have any of his old books? Only a few. Granddad tried to buy some when the Abbey fell on hard times, but they were too expensive. But I can show you something better than books. Don't keep me in suspense. Didn't your dad ever teach you patience? I'm trying to build up some anticipation here. Right, so we don't have any books on the old pagans, but we do have their stuff. Shards of ceramic pots and animals, bricks from what looks like to be an old forge, mountains of salt, even a little bear carved from amber. Where do you find all this stuff? It's not just me. Carl finds things, Fabian too. Any farmer would tell you the same. It's all out there in the fields, under the dirt. Can't go one season without turning up something. Where are you keeping these things? Nowhere. We just toss them into piles with the rest of the rocks and root clumps. Sure, it's interesting, but we can't do much of anything with the stuff except look at it. What do you think it all means? I don't know. How do you think these people lived? Rough, I'd say, but comfortable. Why is that going to be remembered? I have no idea. We don't find much of their clothes or their houses, so they must have rotted. I guess that means that they were living in huts. But their tools are good quality. If they weren't all rusted to all hell, I could probably use them today. I don't know why, but I assumed they'd live in caves or in the muck. They weren't Christians, no doubt about that, but they weren't animals either. I'd say they had it hard, but they got by. Not just so different from today, really. You mentioned something about salt. Did pagans start the mine? Had to have, I'd say. Most people think it was a Roman project, but I think the Romans just dug out what was already there. That's why tossing was so important to the Romans in the first place. Salt. I'd wonder why they'd settled it in such a small alpine town. This has been a big help. Glad to spread some knowledge around. Important for folks to know their past. Think all this pagan stuff will make it in the mural? I can bring some of the things the boys and I have found over the Wrath House tomorrow if you think that'd help at all. That'd be great. I'm glad you're taking an interest, Magdalene. I thought nobody cared about the pagans but me and my granddad. Until tomorrow. Until then. I should get back to the Wrath House and get to work. The Wrath House. We go up. Let's work on the mural. Hey Max, how's the mural coming along? What? Oh, right. Magdalene. Sorry. Anyway, Magdalene, how's the mural going? It doesn't look like much yet. Well, of course it doesn't look like anything now. I have only just finished priming the wall, now I have to decide what to depict. It's so hard to piece together the history of Tassing when it happened so long ago. Since the Abbey library burned, I can only rely on stories from people around Tassing. Even what I could find about the Romans and pagans was obscure. I had to go into the old salt mine to find anything. And then, at least I know now what to paint for the first part of the mural. So what is it? I think the one that Il Peter was talking about. Remember a legend about a wolf chieftain Raidus who healed a wolf that led him to our spring. Huh. Is that how we all got here? Sounds like some story, same story I heard about a saint. I don't think I've heard it. Sorry. So what made you choose this story, anyway? I like that it's about the founding of Tassing. Everybody knows about the spring in the woods. I guess that's true. We all know that it's old and it's always been there. This just tells a story about how we found it. Thanks for explaining it. course. I want you to understand why I'm making these choices. Now that I've figured out this portion of the mural out, I'd better start thinking about the next section. I'll leave it to you, Magdalene. Good night, Ots. Good night, Magdalene. Now I've decided how to depict Tasting's earliest history, I should decide how to paint Kirsaw's history. Mother Illuminata's letter mentioned that if Matthew Fosigniso used to be a brother in Kirsaw. He said, or she said, he knew a great deal about the Abbey's history. I should write him and ask what he remembers. Oh, and I have Esther's letter to answer too. I should write to them both now, before bed. Mother Illuminata told me that Matthew is knew some of the Abbey's early history. He's the Archdeacon of Sigon now. I should write to him before the snows come. I'll write to Esther too. Archdeacon of Sion. My name is Magdalene Druckrin. I'm the daughter of Tasting's town printer Klaus. My father and I were creating a mural for Tasting's Rathaus, and we want to show the history of the town and the abbey. Mother Illuminatus told me that you might be the best person to ask about Kirsaw's early history. I understand you are a busy man, but we would be most appreciative of any information you could give us. If you know of any other places where we might learn about the Abbey's history, we would appreciate it. I know it may be small comfort, but there are many in Tasting who regret what happened during the revolt. Sister Gertrude is still here with the poor Clares, and she still speaks fondly of the old Abbey. Thank you for your help. Magdalene. Esther. Please forgive me for not writing sooner. So much has happened since the last I wrote. Even as my last letter was en route to you, Dad was attacked in the workshop in the middle of the night. He survived, thank God, but his injuries are terrible, and I worry about him. He's so dizzy he can't get out of bed. Some days his eyes become foggy, and his memory fails him. Dr. Stoltz said he's not going to recover, and that it's only a matter of time before he succumbs to the injury. Of course, our good doctor is incompetent and a known drunkard, so he's been of little additional help. I can only pray that between resting and my ministrations, Dad can at least be comfortable. I have no idea who would have wanted to attack my father or why. I found a note by him, too. All it said was stop. It wasn't from the shop, because the script was written in the most elaborate hand I've ever seen. No one in Tasting has such skill in script, as far as I know. And anyway, I don't have the time to wonder about it. I've had my hands full running workshop alone while attending to Dad. What's more, the town council intended to cancel the mural entirely. I had a hell of a time convincing them to let me paint it instead. They made a fuss about my being too young, not experienced enough, not strong enough to be on the scaffold. You know how it is. I suppose I shouldn't have expected anything better of them. Working on the mural has been a welcome distraction from the naysayers and my chores, and worrying about my dad. Otts has been helping me under the pretense of helping me prepare my paints too. It's sweet and I'm glad for the company. He makes the days easier, sure. I'll say that, that's fine. I'd like to have the whole mural finished by Christmas if I can. I just want to finish it in time for Dad to see it. It would mean so much to him. If Dr. Stoltz is right, I don't know how long I'll have. I hope you're faring better than we are. All my love, Magda. Sleep. Well, that's the first part of the painting. Or the mural. Not for the second. Mr. Struckerin, a few more letters for you. Take care. Thank you, sir. Safe travels. First letter is from Reverend Matthew. Ah, it's him. Mr. Struckerin, I was not acquainted with your family during my years at Kearsarge. Even so, I remember your father was one of the townsfolk who prevented the peasantry from burning us alive. I'm not overly inclined to assist the people of Tassing in their endeavors to catalog the origins of the abbey they destroyed. However, it was a long time ago. In the interest of posterity and Christian charity, I'll tell you what I recall. Some time after the Romans left, Christians settled in the region and built Kearsarge Abbey on the ruins of a fortress. The abbey was founded by the noblewoman of the Kearsarge family. She was both its patron and its first abbess. Perhaps 2 centuries ago, Kearsarge changed to being run by an abbot. I do not know the reason, but many other double monasteries did likewise around the same time. It may have been done out of fear of being shut down, as double monasteries were frowned upon by the Pope. Sadly, that is the extent of my knowledge. Your neighbors put any other records about the Abbey of the Torch. Sic arstit historia Kearsus. Thus burned the history of Kearsarge. While we cannot change the past, I have heard that the Sisters of Poor Clares have formed a new chapter at the Abbey. I can only hope that their love of the apostolic poverty has not driven them to impoverish the shrine of St. Marie's. Assuming they have not consigned the contents of Kearsarge's former occupants to a bonfire, you might find something there. It's hard to feel overjoyed at the news of your neighbor's late regrets. Many of the injuries inflicted 18 years ago will never heal. Regret cannot undo what has been done, but we can all find redemption through Christ. We must pray for love and reconciliation in the days ahead. In the end, that is all that matters. Winter comes swiftly. Huguenot and Lutherans plague my homeland. Thank the Lord you still live in a land ruled by the one true church. I hope that this has been of some help to you and yours. May God keep and protect you. The Most Reverend Matthew Faucigny, Archdeacon of Sion. Another reply from Esther. Oh, Magdalene. I'm terribly sorry about your father. My parents send their deepest condolences. If we can provide you anything from Prague, you need only send word. I know we are farther away than it is easy to travel, but I'll see what we can do that Hashem allows. Father says he remembers no one who would want to harm your father. Yet, the night I was born, he remembers great strife in town. Perhaps there is old blood over depicting the night of the revolt? That is all he could suggest. We pray for you and your father every day in our offerings. Hashem will make all things right in time. He will exact justice on the culprit. I'm encouraged to hear that the town council let you continue the mural at all. The guilds here will protect your right to complete a job, especially once a contract has been reached. You give the men of the council too much grace. Why should you be forced to settle for their old ways of thinking? We live in a new age. An age where art and science have come together. An age where all may read the works of the great sages in their own language. Truly, when your father recovers, I urge you to come visit me in Prague. But I'm glad you found some joy in your work on the mural. We are all well here. Elisha has been carving a new set of wood cuttings, and father has agreed to a new contract with the university. I found Simon. His family didn't move far away after all. He's planning on working as a doctor in the city once the expulsion order ends. His parents have been meeting with mother and father quite often now. So I hope I will be sending good news in my next letter, with Hashem's help. Please inform us of your father's condition in your next letter. Be well. Esther. Nice. I should head home and check on Dad. Werner was supposed to come check on Dad today. I wonder where he is. Maybe I should try to find him later. Good morning, Magdalene. Good morning, Dad. Feeling any better? Your fever broke at dawn this morning. A little stronger. All things. In time. Do you want anything to eat before I leave for the day? I'm working on the next section of the mural today. I'm not so hungry now. I'll be alright. Your letter from the Archdeacon, yes? That's right. What did you learn from him? He seems sad over what happened during the revolt, hesitant to tell me anything. He did say that the abbey was founded by a noblewoman after the Romans left. Everything else burned in the fire. How unfortunate. I know the brothers kept careful records of the monastery. So much lost in one night. The Archdeacon did suggest the poor Clares might have held on to some of the records from the Covenant. I should be able to learn more about the Tassings' Christian history there. An excellent place to start, Magdalene. Sister Gertrude doesn't come out of the convent much, but I think it's worth asking her. Maybe Father Thomas knows something too. I should talk to him. If I recall correctly, the miller's wife has a long family history in Tassing. She may know something of the local history that the others have forgotten. Elsa? I thought she moved here when she was married. She doesn't have any relatives in town. Not anymore. Age, illness, and marriage took away the rest of her family. But the Caviezel's used to live all up and down this valley. Go talk to her, I will. Thanks, Dad. Maybe I should see... Maybe something remained in the Abbey's ruins. I should definitely see what's left. Magdalene, be careful. Those ruins are dangerous. I won't go that far into them, Dad. Just to take a look. Alright. Wearing a scarf, too. It's getting cold out now. I can feel it in my bones. Don't worry, Dad. I'll see you tonight, alright? Alright. Good luck. And voila. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Take a nap. Okay. So, it's about time. I did not help with the frogs. There's a mass release of the frogs from the tabernacle on Sunday Mass while the whole town was in attendance. I'm certain the twins had something to do with it. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, well, I think this is a good place to stop. I learned a little bit about the Roman and non-Roman origins of the town, and now it's time for the kind of middle section there. The more recent past, you know, the one involving the Abbey itself. So, yeah, I will catch y'all later. Thanks for watching.